Hey, cuz, welcome to Mr. Smith and Brother Blues in the Between Cousins show. I'm Mr. Smith.
And I'm Brother Blues in. How you doing today, cousin?
I'm doing awesome. And it is Sunday, Father's Day, so thank you to all the fathers out there and all the fatherly influences that are out there helping the people underneath them to come up and be better.
I feel you, man. Appreciate it, sir.
Yes.
So today we're going to go into the last chapter that I want to read out of the five levels of attachment. Chapter 10, it's called The Biggest Demon. Let
Okay.
me go ahead and just jump into it. So, the biggest demon. My father has always pushed me to question my knowledge, challenge my attachments, and discover new ways of understanding. And so during my training, he would often present me with puzzles. One day he asked, Miguel, do you know what the biggest demon in the world is? I thought for a moment and I shook my head. No, it's love, he replied, with a slight smile playing on his lips. How can love be the biggest demon in the world? I responded doubtfully, feeling my emotional reaction coursing through my body, its epicenter somewhere around my belly. I felt the I felt the irritation of a child who knows his father is about to burst another one of his favorite bubbles. Solve the puzzle and you will find out, he said. I looked at my father, the man who had written the book, The Mastery of Love, in disbelief. Love can't be the biggest demon in the world. I practically shouted. We are all love. We all share love. Love is all we are. To this, he replied, Miguel, figure it out. And he walked away. I thought about this, but it made absolutely no sense to me. We are love. We are born into love. How could he even say that love is the biggest demon and allegedly the big or is a demon and allegedly the biggest demon of all? And if I am love, how can I be the biggest demon in the world? The puzzle sat unsolved in my mind for quite some time. Then came my moment of clarity, the kind that arrives out of the blue and sets you on a path that guides you through the rest of your life. It arrived while I was watching the San Diego Chargers play against the Oakland Raiders, two football teams that share a big rivalry. I'm well aware of my level of attachment to the Chargers. When I watch them play, I make a conscious choice to engage in the game, and I quickly go to a level 3 attachment. Sometimes I even go to level 4. This is probably why my epiphany came during the football game. In the first quarter of this particular game, the television suddenly went silent. Something was wrong with the television or the transmission, and the game had no sound at all. Couldn't hear what was going on. Sensing an opportunity, I decided to assign myself an exercise. I challenged myself to watch the game as if I had never watched football before. My goal was to unlearn or let go of what I knew about football and simply enjoy the scene in front of me. I wanted to detach from all of my preconceptions. It took me quite a while to stop describing to myself what was happening on the field and just watch the game unfold. I saw two teams in a battle and began to understand their plays and actions from a fresh perspective. I began to see each action as if it were truth unfolding. My mind went silent, and I simply watched. A deeper connection formed between me and what was happening on the field at the moment. I was enthused by the play of both teams. Somewhere around halftime, the sound returned, and lo and behold, there were now two voices describing what was happening, narrating every moment. The narrators were telling me where to place my focus, and I could feel my attention being steered until I was no longer watching the game unfold as I had before, but instead was listening to what I was being told. The narrators informed me when to cheer and when not to cheer. They explained why the ball was thrown, why a touchdown was possible, and why the defense was doing so well. Then they started describing things that weren't even happening on the field. Why a player held out on his contract, who should be traded, which player didn't deserve to even be on the team. I began to pay attention to only what the voices wanted me to see as they excitedly pointed out stunning plays and judgmentally expressed disapproval of weak players. When the game ended, I could only recall what those sportscasters wanted me to remember. only glimpses of truth, a touchdown, a great tackle, or an amazing pass, shown through that narration. Then the post-game show started, and every moment of the game was recounted. I apparently needed a team of narrators to tell me what I had just seen. That's when I had a sudden realization, or I had my sudden realization. I have those same commentators in my head. The only difference is that they have my own voice. Just like taking a sip of wine and thinking about the region of, oh, sorry, thinking about the region and varietal, varietal of the grapes instead of the enjoying the experience. Varietal. I've never heard that word before. Um, I let the narrators talk about whatever catches my attention, and it is usually something I'm already attached to. This pulls me away from my experience of the present moment. The way a rubber band stretched too far snaps back. The narrators are the voices of the filter of what we know, the thoughts and beliefs, the construct of our belief system. This is what my father referred to as the voice of knowledge. I simply call them the narrators. In the Toltec tradition, there is a symbol we use to describe all the chatter in our mind, the mitote, which means 1,000 voices all talking at the same time. Those voices are all trying to catch your attention, and the one that speaks the loudest are usually the ones that manifest in the form of an attachment. Some narrators may speak from distortion, while others may speak from truth. Through our reason, we are able to tell the difference between the two, but it is difficult for us to tell them apart when we are attached to them. Depending on which narrators we are attracted to, we will perceive the world through their narration, thus creating our world in their image. Of course, I had always understood this on an intellectual level, but through this experience, I finally understood it on a much deeper level, or should I say, much deeper intuitive level. These narrators are the personification of our attachments to things, ideas, and beliefs. They can keep us rooted to the past experience as we try to make sense of the present. We have a predilection. We have a predilection for fitting new experiences neatly into our preconceptions of life. These voices also keep us focused on some idealistic goals for ourselves, something to attain in the future, or something might even convince ourselves we will never attain, but think we could still strive for. So turning our attention back to love, our narrators also play a major role in our relationships. In my own case, when I was younger, I fell in love with a beautiful young lady. But after some time of just enjoying our love for each other, we grew comfortable and fell into a routine. At this point, we began to find some faults with the relationship and started to argue over what should be in order for our relationship to meet our expectations. Other than what she told me, I had no idea what was really going on in her mind. However, I knew what was going on in mine. My narrators were commenting, to be the perfect girlfriend, she should be like this. Our love is supposed to be this way. She does this to control me. How can I make her happy? I should do this. All the things my narrators told me were based on my attachments to what I believe a relationship should be in order for us to continue loving each other. All these expectations were informed by my past experiences and beliefs I had acquired growing up. I allowed my knowledge to analyze how a relationship is supposed to be, and I believed it. I was no longer connecting or having a communion with my beloved. My attention was on the voice of the narrators. At the time, I could see that while our love was still there, our attachment to the ideas about what we thought love should be would ultimately come between us. This was all a product of listening to our narrators. And so, through this football game insight and the reflection of my relationship, I finally understood what my father meant when he said that love is the biggest demon. Instead of simply experiencing love, being love, narrators explain how love should feel. What makes us worthy of love? Who should love us? And how? What makes us worthy of love? Who should love us and how they should express it? What we need to do or achieve to love ourselves and what others need to do in order to receive our love in return. We begin to believe the narrator's analysis of what love should be and become attached to that belief. We begin to impose it on ourselves and others, thus creating a distorted reflection of love. Narrators convince us that if we can achieve an imagined perfection, we will soon be so full of love that life will be smooth going from then on. But what really happened is what we have made love conditional. And if we continue to follow the guidance of our narrators, we will go from childhood to young adulthood and beyond attached to the idea that we need to find a living personification of what true love is. In order to be in love, we must have someone to love. And of course, that person is supposed to love us back. We get really hung up on this part, forming our idea of love through positive and negative reinforcement, much of the way we do with as children, always seeking our parents' approval, yearning for the acceptance, and shrinking from their disapproval. This kind of love has many conditions attached that suffering is inevitable. And in this way, love becomes the biggest demon of all. Our distortions turn the angel of unconditional love into the demon, a symbol of the distortion of truth, exaggerating our fears and distorting our view even more, creating a personal hell for ourselves. We look in the mirror and do not see a reflection of love. Oh, when we look in the mirror and do not see a reflection of love, it means we can't see through the smoke that distorts our view and makes us think that love is something that needs to be gained, like the elusive carrot on a stick. If we look at our reflection and into our eyes, we will see what lies beyond them. We will see the truth. There's no need to chase love when we are in love. Simply release our attachment to what we expect to see so that we can see beyond it. We turn off the volume on our narrators, the voice of our knowledge, and simply engage the present. And the true image of love will appear. We have always been love, but we have grown so accustomed to the smoky, distorted reflection of love, it doesn't allow us to see or accept ourselves that we don't know how to live life without it, which is the biggest lie. But when we become aware of our attachment and decide to let go of the distortion, then the motivation to change comes from our own love. And it gives us a whole new perspective on life. This genuine motivation is a subject of the next section. When we let go of our attachment to our narrators, specifically their judgments and certain criticisms, and accept ourselves as we are, conditional love will no longer be the motivator that compels us to change. For example, if I look in the mirror and say, "Hey, Miguel, you are out of shape. No one will take you seriously if you look like that. You need to lose some weight." I am being motivated by the distorted opinions of my narrators. But when I look in the mirror and say, "Hey, Miguel, you are the perfect you in this moment. And I accept you completely, but I see that you might want to lose a few pounds in order to be more healthy." Then I am being motivated to make changes by the desire to take care of myself, which comes from self-love. So going on a diet is not a condition by which I accept myself. Rather, I recognize the truth of my unhealthy state and I decide to make a change. Not because conditional love has forced my hand, but because I love and accept myself. So taking steps to improve our health, change careers, or really do anything that will transform our lives is often an emotional process. Fear of failure or not obtaining the goal we set out to achieve often keeps us from taking action and actually perpetuates what we don't want. In an episode of Frasier, a popular American TV show in the 1990s, Frasier is battling his past and has a hallucination of all his former love interests. He comes to the conclusion that illustrates my point very well, saying, "I am alone because I am afraid to be alone." He doesn't take a chance on love because he fears he will fail and then have to feel the discomfort of rejection. Fortunately, he realizes that the only way forward is to let go of the wounds that are holding him back. Believing that we need to avoid rejection at all costs is a very common belief. For instance, if someone says to you, "I am not attracted to you," you have a choice about what to do with that knowledge. You can accept the truth without the narrator and realize that it has nothing to do with you and has everything to do with that person and his or her particular case, the news is still hard to hear, but it is simple and it ends there. Your other choice, and unfortunately, this is a more common reaction, is to take a person's taste preference and use it against yourself to reinforce some negative belief you have. That person is not attracted to me because I am overweight, I am too short, etc. In this way, you end up using someone else's taste preference to convince yourself that you are not deserving of your own love or acceptance. The motivation to make improvements suddenly becomes conditioned. If I lose a few pounds, maybe she will like me better, or maybe someone even better will be attracted to me. Either way, you are making a choice. You can choose to let yourself acceptance be subjugated by another person's taste or opinion, or you can choose to accept that they have simply stated what is true for them, and that does not change who you are. In my experience, the only motivator that brings lasting change is self love. When I love and accept myself, I want to treat myself well and be healthy, or be as healthy as I can be. Only then do I have the freedom to detoxify from whatever has been subjugating my will. When it comes to being motivated by self love to make changes in life, there are no musts or shoulds. The key phrase here is I want to make this change for me. When you say yes to this choice, then you can begin the process. Doing it for yourself rather than to please others or please your narrator makes all the difference between creating lasting change versus a temporary illusion. So, regardless of whether you stumble along the way when you want to make the change, you keep getting up, exercising your will like a muscle is in training. As your will strengthens, you will know what passion is. Passion is the expression of love, our authentic self, in the form of our intention, a goal, an end result. It's simply a focal point that allows us to conduct our intention in that direction. Enjoying the whole process, it brings us to that point because we are living through it. Authentic love is the greatest motivator for letting go of our attachments. While conditional love only strengthens our attachments, knowing the difference is key as we enter the process of detaching from the condition and agreements that keep us from experiencing our authenticity. At the root of this is how we relate to ourselves and the people in our lives. I cannot give what I don't have if I have conditional love. I will give conditional love. Oh, sorry, don't have. If I have conditional love, I will give conditional love. If I have authentic love, I will be able to give authentic love. The best way to let go of illusion is choosing to accept the truth as it is presented to us just as it is. As it has been said, the truth will set you free. End of chapter.
I had there was a section that I got lost on where you talked about the focal point, and I wanted to see if you could reread that sentence. It was maybe about a
Point.
paragraph or a couple paragraphs back.
Was it close to the end or like in the middle?
It was close to the end.
After the Fraser story?
Yes, right after the Fraser story.
Uh,
It said focal point, and I wanted to just catch what he was trying to say there because it sounded really important, but I kind of went over my head a little bit.
mhm. Page 86. Okay, come on. So what page is that? It's 84, page 85, I should have clicked on it. I just did a search and it gave it to me. There
Oh,
we go.
okay.
Gotcha. So regardless of whether you stumble along the way, um, when you want to make a change, you keep getting up, exercising your will like a muscle in a training. As your will strengthens, you will know what passion is. Passion is the expression of love, our authentic self in the form of our intention. A goal, an end result, is simply a focal point that allows us to conduct our intention in the direction, enjoying the whole process that brings us to that point because we are living through it. That part.
Yes.
So,
So,
so what he's talking about is like, because we say that you set a goal of like, I want to lose this kind of weight, right? So that's just a focal point,
right.
right? And what he's saying there is that it's like you want to enjoy the process to getting there, right? Yes, you're not doing it for this. Like you want to be in the moment for that whole process. And so that's just the point in time that it's like, oh, you can stop and reflect on, wow, I just went through all of this. I did this juice fast. I did this. I worked out. I did this. This whole process has, led me to this point.
Right. Yeah, the focal point with intention or shows
Well,
that
no, that allows us to conduct our intention in the direction. So basically, so using that same thing, the end results gives us a way to use our intention towards that direction, towards
right.
that.
It's like
Right.
so now you have all the things that need to be supplied going in one direction with your intention, motivation, everything's focused at at that point. Because you have enough you've got enough willpower to say, okay, this is what I want and I'm moving towards it.
Yes. Yeah, it's like motivation, right?
Right. Okay.
So, but yeah, but the focal point is just either the end result or the goal that you set for yourself. That's the focal point, right? I'm focused on going from A to Z. Okay. And then my intention is to get to Z.
Right. Hmm.
So, yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was very interesting just because it's when someone's motivated to do something, it's not like you have to ask them like 5 times to do it. They're gonna do it without you even, when they're motivated to do something, there's action that gets taken a lot quicker
Right.
than oh, I don't know, So,
Yeah. No, no, no. Yeah. They put more intention into it.
right.
So it's kind of like saying doing something intentionally versus doing it because you feel like you have to, right? There's no intention behind having to do it. There's no real goal other than it's like, oh, you asked me to do it.
Hmm.
But when you go have a goal of like, hey, I want a bigger chest, or I want, okay, I want to get rid of the turkey neck at the bottom of my biceps or something, right?
Right.
Um, then it's like, okay, I got a goal. What am I doing with this goal? So the intention is kind of like motivation. I see intention and motivation kind of being the same,
Right.
although they're a little bit different from a definition perspective. But it's that when you're motivated, you put more intention into what you're doing.
Right. Hmm.
So what do you think? What else?
I'm still also kind of tripping on the love is the biggest demon. I mean, it as he gets through it talks about the narrators and the conditions that we put on things so I'm kind of looking at that and kind of trying to understand some of the functions that are happening in there just with the conditions that we put on things and how it
Well, think about it. It's like, what do you see? You see all these love movies, right? You see these people talking about how to find love, and everybody has this idea of what love is.
right.
But the thing is that it's not really love that we're looking for. We're looking for companionship,
Hmm.
right? We already have love. In fact, after reading this, I'm sitting there thinking, I was like, huh, we should probably read The Mastery of Love because that's actually a really good one when it comes to relationship. But you have love,
Yeah.
right? There is no I'm love, you are love, everybody is love. What we're looking for is companionship. Like it really is. It's companionship. We're looking for support. We're looking for um, those types of things, right? Those things that are associated with being in a relationship.
Hmm.
Versus it's like, oh well, love has to feel this way. Love has to feel like what? Like how can you describe what love feels like? Because it's going to feel something totally different to me than it would feel to you,
Right.
right?
Yep. And different experiences, can influence those conditions, I bet also. If you
Well, the
have.
well the conditions come into play. Like we say that you had a bad experience with someone, right? And so then the next time you're with someone, you're like, oh, whatever it is that that person did, you're like, oh, well, someone does that to me, then oh no, I'm not going to allow that in my life. I'm not going to allow someone to talk to me like that. I'm not going to allow this. And you do have to set some conditions and stuff and have some boundaries within. Okay, you can't disrespect me, right? Because respect is another form of love.
Right.
So it's but what we tend to do is we tend to see, oh, on this movie, that's how he showed his love. He wrote all these love letters and he did all of this and he showed her this. It's not quite like that. It's like I find myself when I'm you know, in relationships or even just dating and stuff, I find myself sitting there over processing things and being like, oh, whoa, well, they act like this. So it's like, I don't know if I want to be with this person if they act like that, right? It's because
Mhm.
I'm sitting there all mentally. But when I sit there and I look at things from just be in the moment and I'm feeling the energy of it, you can tell how somebody feels about you.
Right.
You can tell how you feel about someone
Right.
else, right? Without having to have all the headspace going on. So when I'm say that I go on a date with someone and I'm sitting there in my head thinking about the whole time, it's like, okay, I really don't like this person in that particular way,
Right.
right? Because I'm sitting there so judgy and there's no reason for me to be judgy. But then if I'm on a date with someone or if I'm like just with someone and I'm not even thinking about it, I'm just there in the moment. Then it's like, oh, okay, I don't have to think about this. There's nothing I have to process here. It's just it,
Right.
right? And I think that that's what gets missed is we get caught up in the keeping up with the Joneses kind of thing. It was like, well, they do this. They go out to the club every weekend and they're always together and they're always on Facebook and they're taking pictures with each other and they're always together. But it's like, okay. I sit there and think about that. I'm like, oh, but I'm a Virgo. It's like I like my me time. I was like, I don't need to be with someone, and I'm not big on social media, so I don't want to be taking a bunch of pictures on social media.
Yeah, and who knows what kind of facade that is.
Oh, I don't know if it's a facade or not, dude.
Yeah,
It could
yeah,
be.
yeah.
Maybe
We
it's
don't
not.
we
I'm
we
not going to
don't.
judge it. I'm not going to
Yeah,
judge it,
yeah,
dude. But it's just
yeah.
that's not my personality, right? That's just
Right.
not me.
Hmm.
So it's just, but there's times if you got she's got a Facebook and she likes to take pictures and hey, whatever, hey, whatever. There's no love lost there.
Right.
It's just more of a personal preference and understanding that helps you to be able to, I guess, I'm going to say collaborate, but and I guess it is kind of collaborate, but it's like but you're fine with it, right?
Mhm.
There's no right or wrong in it. It's just preference, right? Then all of a sudden now we're getting back to the levels of attachment. I got an attachment to not having my face on Facebook. I don't have an attachment to that. It's just a personal preference where it's like I don't post that much because I don't find that I don't find it's good. Well, not good for me, but it just it doesn't resonate with me to
Right.
do it all the time. I do it when I need to, but it's like to do it all the time. It doesn't resonate with me. Someone
Right.
actually asked me the other day. They were like, I actually went to dinner last night, and uh, it was like I can't remember the name of the restaurant. But uh, after I ate, the person asked me, they were like, "Oh, how come you didn't take a picture of your food?" And I was like, "Oh, why am I going to take a picture with my food?" And they were like really harping on taking a picture of my food, and I'm like, "But I don't do that."
Hmm.
Well, it's like the first time that you've eaten here, and I'm like, "Oh, so like
It's just food, right?
I'm like for these prices, I probably won't come back." But
Well, I mean, should you print out a picture and put it on your wall so you remember, or like?
well, I don't know. Well, I don't
No,
know.
I'm just kind of being facetious, but
Well, it's like because like people will capture the first time they do stuff, or
right.
oh look, I'm having a margarita, or I'm having this meal, or I'm at this restaurant, right?
Yeah.
Again, that's not me. That's not my personality. So why would I do that? You know, I'll be like, oh, look, I'm at Wiener Schnitzel. I got myself a chili dog, Wiener Schnitzels, and a corn dog, and
Right.
some ketchup.
Right, exactly.
So, but no, I mean, but it's fine. You just other people do it, they do it. Like,
Yeah.
but that again, that's just not me. And so, but I thought it was interesting that they kept asking me. I was like, no, I just don't like. It's not anything personal. Well, I'm like,
Yeah,
but
and other I guess other people like to blog or vlog what
yeah,
they're doing and all that. So it's just another different preference that they're doing. But
right,
but also asking you or questioning you like why you're not doing it. It's like okay, what purpose does that serve? How's that
right,
how's that helping my life at all
exactly.
by taking a picture of my food?
I don't know. I'm like, it's supposed to go in my belly. It's not supposed to be in a picture. Kidding. No, I'm kidding. So, but the piece that really sticks out to me on this chapter
Uh-huh.
is when he talks about the football game, and that all of a sudden, okay, the sound went out, and so he's watching this game, no commentators, right? And he's watching the game, and he's just like, oh man, look at that, like you're watching the game. But then when the sound came back, all of a sudden it was like his attention was being taken over here, taken over there, taken over here, taken, oh, this person got a contract or whatever. Every time I read this part or I hear when I listen to the book and I hear this part, I'm like, that's why I don't watch sports anymore. I just can't watch sports anymore because they talk too much. There's too much talk. Like I don't care what someone does outside of the court. I don't care.
Right.
Like old school basketball, like I used to love basketball, and they would be talking about what's going on in the game.
Right.
And then
Now it's
somewhere in
about
like
who they
late '90s
did, what happened, and all this stuff in
and
the
in
news.
2000, then they started getting into this whole other spectrum of like, oh, okay, we're going to talk about their contract and so has this, and I'm just like, oh, this is gossip. This isn't even a basketball game.
Right.
Like like for me, it ruins the game.
Because they're not calling the game. They're
No, they're not. They're not
everything.
really calling the game, but they're giving their opinion about this happened in the game, and
Right.
oh, oh, that's a foul. That's not a foul. So you're like, was it a foul? Was it a foul? And then you watch the replay. Oh no, that was a foul. Oh no, no, that wasn't a foul. Right? It was just like, but when you go to the game, you don't have the commentary.
No.
And so you're just watching the game,
hmm
right? Total different experience.
Yeah. So
Um,
he's basically saying the commentators is what those conditional things that we're putting in our head to
well,
say.
the commentators are basically, he gave the analogy, basically the analogy of the commentators are like the narrators in our own heads,
hmm
right? Like it's like, okay, I'm putting conditions on love, or I'm putting conditions on friendship. I'm putting conditions on whatever. It's like, oh, my perspective. And so like what I was telling you, uh, like when I catch myself being too, and I call it being too headsy,
hmm
too much in my head. And being a double Virgo is just like yeah, well, I process everything. Everything's being processed. I'm processing stuff while I'm processing stuff, and I'm talking to you, and I'm processing three things at the same time. Like it's just it gets to a point to where it's like I'm thankful for the fact that I'm able to be in the moment because then I'm not
hmm
processing stuff,
Right.
right? Even while I'm reading, if you notice, like I mess up, I'm sitting there thinking about something while I'm reading, and I'm just like, okay, focus, back to this focus. Okay, I'm good to go, right? And it's
Yeah.
just, it's just something that I do, and
Right.
so it's just understanding that I don't get mad about it. I don't, get frustrated with it. It's just
hmm
okay. This is how I am. Um, but that's also part of being self-aware
hmm
is paying attention to what you're saying, paying attention to how you're doing stuff, how you're reacting, how your emotions are feeling. That's all self-awareness practice.
hmm
Now, when you get into the point to where you start telling yourself, it's like, oh man, look at that belly. Oh man, look, oh, there's too much. Oh, there's too much here. Oh, oh, my ears. Like judging yourself, like the mind judging it, judging you judging yourself in your mind. That's where, I mean, this is what he's more talking about is more of that type of stuff, you
So is
know?
that also called like negative self-talk then, or is that something
And it
different?
can be. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's you can call it whatever you want.
Right.
Um, because it would be in that case, it would be negative self-talk, right?
Right.
Or I could be like Prince and be like, sexy, mother, too sexy, right?
Yeah, I hear you.
One way or another, then that's motivating talk, right?
Right.
You are too sexy. Looking in the mirror and just say, or like on Saturday Night Live where he was like, was it Stuart Smalley? He's like,
Uh-huh.
I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and gosh darn it, people like me.
Yeah. Or in
Daily affirmations.
certain communities would be like, well, she thinks more highly of herself, or yeah, they really
Yeah,
shouldn't be wearing that, but they think too highly of themselves.
yeah.
So,
But I mean that's a function of the of who we are. You
right.
know, we're I've been having actually a lot of conversations with people about consciousness. It's actually a
Conscious?
funny
Yeah.
consciousness.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we talked. I don't know if we talked about it in one of the things or not, but I've actually been talking to other people about consciousness. We're trying to
Okay.
get people to come to the show with us
Right.
and have these conversations. And everybody has this different idea of consciousness, right? Um, and understanding the difference between consciousness and awareness, even though like I give them the explanation is like, oh, I'm conscious because I'm right here in the moment. I can process this. I can make a decision. I
Right.
can, I know, I'm aware of what's going on. And then you come to this like, oh, so consciousness is the same as awareness. And it's like, well, no, it's my awareness is always how should I say, a function of consciousness
Hmm.
because I'm aware of a part of the consciousness. So it's consciousness, and then then there's awareness within this consciousness,
Right.
right? Because it's like you exist. I'm conscious because I can experience you. If I
Right.
was not conscious,
Can
it
you
wouldn't
have
really,
can you
it
have
would,
consciousness without awareness?
no, how can you? Like, how can you? Like, well, you know what? Maybe not. I don't know. That's a good question.
Because
That's a,
it
that's a
seems like
confession.
they work together. They work in conjunction with each other.
So let me read this to you.
Right. Yeah.
So this is on my when I go to the Kung Fu studio, they have this big, I don't know, I'll call it infographic. It's not really infographic, but there's a quote on there that says consciousness sleeps in rocks and minerals, dreams in plants and flowers, coils in animals, and awakens in humans. We're the only species that can make decisions. You know what I'm saying? And change our mind and judge and all these different grand expressions that we can do.
Right.
Animals kind of do it, but they're more instinctual. So it's like they're like conscious, but it's more of like this. Everything is more instinct,
Like a
right?
bear's always going to go in a cave in the winter and hibernate.
Right.
He's not going to plan for that six
Or a
months
dog.
before.
A male dog is always going to pick his leg up and pee.
Right. Uh-huh.
Like that's it's a natural thing. Or oh look, there's food. I'm just going to eat it. I'm not
Right.
going to think about what he's eating. Smells good. I'm just going to eat it. Where humans are like, oh my God, I ate all that chicken. I ate all this. I'm going to be fat. I'm like, there's all of a sudden there's this judgment, right? And that's what I'm saying. It's like, dogs don't judge themselves because they ate a piece of poop. They
Right.
just ate a piece of poop.
Right.
Smelled good. I ate it,
He was
right?
hungry. Yep.
Like,
Yep.
well, this is, it just is. But if a human ate a piece of poop, it's like, ooh, you ate a piece of poop, right? The fact that we can make that distinction is consciousness.
Hmm. In that moment.
Well, in general, I'm just
Yeah.
saying in general,
Okay.
not specifically that moment,
Yeah.
but the fact that I could sit here and make a choice, not that animals don't make choices, that again, their choices are based off of their instinct. I can make a choice based off of my thoughts. I can make a
Right.
choice based off of, okay, let me weigh these options. Dog's not going to be like, let me weigh the options. Do I want the kibble or do I want some live food? I mean, I'm sure they would prefer live food, but it's like the kibble is what's in front of me, so I'm going to eat the kibble.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm hungry. I'm just going to eat the kibble. Now, humans, I mean, some people, they might find themselves in a position to where it's like they only have the option of kibble to eat. or something like that, right? It's like
Right.
they're just, depending on their life situations, but um, there's this awareness around it to where it's like, oh yeah, I'm just eating some kibble. Not
Hmm.
that we don't have instincts, right? And
Right.
but that's kind of like where I try to catch myself wanting to, for the most part, follow my instincts, and that's the I don't know if it would be specifically instincts though. Is the word I'm looking for. It's intuition.
Right. Okay.
Like
Got you.
intuition is the same as instinct. To me, intuition and instincts are basically the same thing. Um, my intuition is telling me don't go out tonight.
Right.
My instincts are telling me don't go out tonight. Right?
But
Like
but
it's like
earlier you said your intuition was also kind of like a motivation as well.
no intention.
Intention. I'm sorry. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
it. Okay. Got it. Sorry. I mixed those two up.
you're in. Well, intention is like okay, I got this goal, so my intention is to reach this goal.
Right.
So my intention is my motivator.
Hmm. So if your intention is to have peace, that means you're not going out that night.
Well, I mean, it depends. Like, if my but I'm saying my intuition is saying don't go out tonight because it's probably not a good idea to go out tonight.
Right.
Not
Got you.
really anything intention because there's no goal there.
Right.
Like, I didn't have a goal of going out tonight. It was like there's an option for me to go out. Um, but something's telling me not to go out, so I'm just not going
Right.
to go out. Or my intuition is telling me this person is shady or something, right? It's like this person, there's something off here. Or, oh, you know what? Like a mother to intuition. You know
Right.
what? Something's wrong with my kid. You go in
Right.
there, like, oh, you got a cough now, right? It's like intuition
Right.
or instinct. It's something that we naturally have, but it's funny because most of us have to go understand it. Like there's no, there, a lot of us have, everyone has intuition. Everybody can, I can't say that everyone's psychic per se, like, that's just an idea, but it's like everybody has intuition. It's just, do we listen to that intuition?
Hmm.
Because sometimes it gets distorted by the narrators in our head.
Right. Hmm.
So, yeah. So, I mean, this chapter, I mean, it wasn't like a lot of meat and potatoes in it.
Right.
Um, because reason I wanted to read that because I wanted to kind of close out the whole, five levels of attachment.
Hmm.
Um, do you have any questions along the lines of the five levels of attachment and all, like anything that we've read out of all the chapters we've read? Like any
Uh,
thoughts?
General thoughts is just this is just kind of opening up to kind of and for more awareness on my own, just looking at different situations and looking at these different patterns of situations that have happened over time. It's just like wow, if you're if for me, I was looking at different situations where I still had residual feelings about a past job or past people that I work with and stuff like that. And then I kind of looked at it and then, what was I attached to or what was going on at that time to do more self-evaluation. So it's
Right.
helped me in that respect. And then it's also helped me to look at, just from a different perspective because you can like you were talking with different people about consciousness. Like everybody's got their different view. Nobody's wrong, nobody's right, but everybody's got a point of view, on that. So it's just widening the lens and opening it up is allowing me to see more and allow
Mhm.
me to say step back a little bit and saying, not always on judgmental stuff, but stuff that I've judged myself on. Like,
Right.
I'm gonna do this by the time I get to 40. I'm gonna do this by the time I get to this, and all this other stuff. And some of our conversations, like, it just kind of has me rewriting the code for myself. It's like, when you're just like, well, why do I have to go somewhere? Why do I have to be in motion to have all these other I mean there's things that we all want to do and stuff like that, but can I be comfortable and peaceful in the moment that I'm in right now without having to worry about where I'm going to be at next? How can I just sit and be here right now? So
Yeah. And making your here and now intentional for that future thing. right?
Right.
So it's
So,
just taking steps. Like I told you before, it's like you're taking steps towards something doesn't mean that you have to get there. And then even then, you may we tend to be like, oh, okay, well, I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. And then when you go look back at it, you're like, I've actually been there, but I keep changing the mark. I keep changing the mark for it.
you keep redrawing the line
Yeah,
and kicking the dirt.
yeah.
Right. Uh-huh.
It's not good enough. Oh, I'm not perfect yet. Oh, it's not perfect yet, right? That's what we do. But that's how we grow. That's the whole thing. That's the whole purpose of a goal is not to reach a goal. It's like you said, it's a focal point so that okay, I'm going through this process. Hey,
Hmm.
I reached here. Okay, but now I need to go to the next level, and then I need to go to the next level, right?
Hmm.
Um, depending on where you want to go with it. And sometimes it's not about. I like that you said that. I could just be here in the moment.
Right.
And, if this moment is not the right moment to work on something, then it's not the right moment.
Right.
But then maybe the next moment is, right?
Right.
Maybe next week. Okay. This is the moment for me to work on it. And it'll happen when you're ready for it to happen.
Right. And the other thing too is like, I mean, we people can get all wrapped up in their work or different hobbies and other stuff like that they're doing. But I just kind of noticed, myself that I want to make a better effort to be more present in the conversations that I'm having with certain people, like my wife or my parents or whatever. I just want to be more present instead of off, like you said, processing is something else, and you're not really paying attention. You're not really having a genuine conversation because of your all that. So what I'm trying to do now is like intentively listen
Right.
and focus. So, and I and
Good.
I and I think that's something that's good for me to work on. So.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Right,
So
man.
another thing is I just want to say I just since we started this, even before the podcast, I'm just appreciative to be able to learn new concepts, new ideas, new perceptions and all that. So sometimes it some stuff clicks right away, some stuff doesn't,
Mm.
but it all ties in and works together. So I'm just
So,
appreciative to be
so
able to
I
do
will
this.
tell you, you're not learning anything new. You're remembering. And all
Uh,
I'm doing is sparking the memory for you.
okay, so I already know it. I just don't know it yet.
We all do.
Right.
Everything is everything is all there for us. Like everything. If you believe in the idea of like past lives,
Hmm.
like you've experienced all of this before. Not to this degree. Like this is a different lifetime as far as experience, but everything that's available to be experienced has been experienced.
Hmm.
Right? It's just that you come back into this lifetime with, oh, I'm starting off with no experience. And then you're
Hmm.
rebuilding kind of like, okay, this is who I am. This is who, I've been. This is who I'm going to be. And then it's like, this is what I'm choosing to do. And then all of a sudden you find out it's like, oh, and then you learn something. You're like, okay, I remember that.
Hmm.
Like, cause you wouldn't be learning it again. You wouldn't be learning it if it wasn't something you already knew.
Right.
Like you can't learn something you don't already know. You just don't remember.
Hmm. Interesting. So what
At
do you
least
what
that's
do
how,
you what do you want to go next from where we're at now? Mastery of Love, or where do you think?
uh,
And not to put you on the spot, you can take some
no, no,
time.
no, no, no. I
You
was
know.
just, while I was reading that, I was like, oh man, we should do Mastery of Love. Um, hmm, that one might be a good one. That one might be a good one because I mean, it's just that was the book that helped me to when I was separated from my ex wife. It's been over 13 years, I think. Um, it was a book that helped me to understand what self love was.
Mm,
And once I
okay.
understood self love, I knew what I needed. Well, I knew that okay, we need to be divorced. Like once I understood what self love was, that helped me to make that decision and to be good with it. Right?
Hmm.
It doesn't change the fact that it's like you got two people in the situation, and I still have to release all the stuff that I had going on, and she started to release all the stuff that she had going on. But it may help me to realize that it's like I need to take responsibility for my part. I
Hmm.
can't take responsibility for someone else's part. I got to take responsibility for my part. Now, did I take responsibility right away? No, because I didn't quite understand I understood certain things from the book, but you also still have to go through the process and okay, dating and trying to be with other people and having these different experiences. And it's like, oh, okay, points of references and just relearning it, right?
Right.
Um, Relearning how to have a relationship and to find yourself. But it really, what I found is it comes down to is like, oh, if like what he said in the book, if I don't love myself, I can't love anybody else.
Mm.
Right. Same thing with the energy work. If I don't have 120% of my own energy,
Hmm.
I should not be doing any energy work on anybody
Right.
because I'm just going to deplete my own energy. Same thing with money. If I don't have 120% of what I need to survive, I should not be giving any money to anybody.
Hmm.
Right. Because it's like I'm giving away what I need.
Right.
And so it does come across selfish. It does sound selfish, but the thing is that it's not. It's less about being selfish and more about being, hey, I need to take care. I need to be taken care of before I can take care of you. Think
Right.
about it on a plane. Hey, put your mask on first, then put the other person's mask on.
Right. Hmm.
It's just you can't because at the end, it's like you're defeating the purpose of self love. Self love, yes, it does. You do want to have love for others, and you do want to support others. But if you can't support yourself, it's very hard to really give others the support that they're really needing, right?
Right. And speaking of planes, I just saw in the news about that one single survivor from
Oh
that
yeah,
crash, and I was just like, man, so but yeah, that's just kind of crazy. Not that that
yeah. I don't
influenced
know. I saw some stuff
anything.
on it, but
Yeah.
it's something that happens. I mean,
Yep.
it's whatever the karma was in that position. I don't know, but so all right, man.
Yep.
Close it out for today. I hope everyone enjoyed at least these few chapters that we read through it. Is like I wanted to go through. Right, I thought about going through the whole book, but I mean, it basically goes through and talks about four agreements. It gives a whole other explanation of it. So what I did is I chose the chapters that I thought were the most important from the book. I'll look at the Mastery of Love and see because that one there's a lot of good jewels in that one. It's a for me it was just a great book. Like there's just so many different good stories and good analogies and everything in there that I think we could just yeah we could do quite a
Uh,
few goes off of that.
okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think I actually have that book, so I may be
Yeah,
reading along ahead of that, or around the same time we're doing that. So definitely
awesome.
interested in picking up on that one as well.
All right,
Hmm.
everybody, thanks for watching the show. I'm Brother Blues in,
I'm Mr. Smith.
and always follow yours in.